today. Thank you for joining the National Parent Union's The Apparent Voice. I am your host, Bernita Bradley, and today is our Friday show. This week I've been kind of like on a theme of early childhood education because we started out Tuesday with Kamara Morgan and Hope Starts Here. And we have all these questions around early childhood programs and how we are opening up and when we are opening up and who's going to be doing the work and the services and how they've made plans and shifts. So with that being said, I really wanted to invite some of the best people in the city on board to, there's some others, but, I got a couple of crew that I love. So, wanted to invite them on to just really talk, and I'll invite more of them on soon to just explain how the next couple of weeks will be looking. We have programs that are open for essential workers, and I dare not just, go to the people that I know do the work best and bring them on and start out with Monique Snyder from Brainiacs. So Monique, I have known for a while. I've known her for probably about 6 years, and then end up come out and find out like we're some kind of way cross related and all this kind of stuff through family, right? And but Monique is, I didn't just ask her on because she family. It's like she literally does great work with young kids on the east side of Detroit. So Monique, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, thank you for joining me. I guess I told you a little bit about it, but parents have a lot of questions, right? We had a conversation with some parents the other day, and they like, well, work is about to open it, and we are just really worried. Like my job has sent me a letter saying I got to come back to work, but what am I going to do with my children? What am I going to do with my babies? They were in childcare, and I know you have a collective group of parents already on a waiting list, but you also have this new program that's opening also. So I wanted to give you that opportunity to just talk about how early childhood programs are opening. So first, let's start with you telling us a little bit about yourself and where your program is and what all you do.
My name is Monique Snyder. I am the director and owner of Brainiacs Clubhouse Child Development Center on the east side of Detroit. We currently literally opened up our second facility 2 weeks before COVID.
Yeah, right.
Which is crazy. Nonetheless, our priorities for parents right now, just to address your initial question, is safety first. Mm-hmm. Right now, what we're doing with our staff is a lot of social emotional development, trying to get them to transition back into the classroom and consider that piece. Mm-hmm. And that's what I ask parents to do too. From safety first, of course, that's our priority. However, we have to consider the children that we're bringing into the facilities. So when we bring our families back, we do that interview with them that's intimate, where we say, hey, what happened in your household? And please be honest. If it was bad, it was bad. Because I had bad things happen in my household too in the last 2 months. Yeah. So whatever it was, just say what happened so we can deal with that with the kid when they come back, because that was traumatic. So we're dealing with a lot of different issues, bringing the children back. Not issues, but, just things that we have to iron out before we get back to our day-to-day academics. And that's our priority right now. As a business, as a foundation for children 0 to 5, we want to make sure that we're addressing the real issues as far as what happened in the household. Was it a hard transition? Was it an easy transition? So that we can make sure that when these babies come back, we address them accordingly. It's not like, why are you screaming? Now we know why you're screaming and we can address it appropriately. Other than that, we're prioritizing the PPE, the COVID, the signage, but our biggest priority right now is the social emotional for the children, so that when they transition back in, it's not a shock or another traumatic situation.
So that's different. So like we've had a lot of conversations around, the fact that kids are going to come with, like, I've been out, especially the kids that were used to your program, right? Mm-hmm. Because they were used to certain time frame, like every day we eat at a certain time, we do this in our class, and this is what my teacher does with me and blah, blah. And at home, mama's like, yep, I didn't know y'all did all that. So like, come on, watch some TV and do your work, or let's create and do some creative stuff. But at the same time, um, the trauma from that, them being absent from that alone, is like they gonna come back into a space that's even changed, right?
Yep. We've had to change a lot of things, from the entry to the exit to our daily schedules and how we handle things. However, because of the way we're transitioning the children back in on enrollment, that's how we're training the staff. Okay, you have 6 students and we're ratioing it based on this was traumatic, they saw this. All right, so what do we do in the mornings? You know, we're curving it to what they need opposed to a regular stagnant schedule. And we're going to do that for at least 6 to 12 months so that we get a understanding of where they are, and we don't want to like flush them into a system and they're just confused, you know?
Yeah. So that social emotional piece, I guess I want to ask too, like, what are some of the parents, not, I mean, without breaking privacy, right? What are some of the parents saying, like, because I've never heard of somebody like, that's a different type of intake. Like, what happened in your house, and how are you ready to kind of like address them? Now, I know it's probably like building a bridge as you go right now,
Right.
but I know you got some type of plan for it, like in your head.
Well, not just my head, but I'm very blessed to have people like you and resources where I can reach out and say, hey, you know, Detroit Children and Family, this is what I'm dealing with this child. How do I handle this so that when they come back, it's not a shock or we don't make it worse? How can we help them from our expertise? And the feedback I'm getting is phenomenal. The best thing I can tell any provider right now, and like I've been told, is to just slow down. Be patient. You'll get the best outcome in you doing this opposed to you trying to make them meet a standard when they're not prepared. So that's the leadership that I'm taking with my team right now. Let's just slow down. You know, it's okay. It's okay to take a break and say, for an hour and a half, guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk. We're going to let him pick up that toy what he wants. We're going to let everyone just come around and have that individual conversation. And then we'll try and lead into a structured situation based on where they are. And then the other thing I have to remind people, and what I was reminded of, is we all have a ratio. I'm not taking in 500 kids. I know the families that we're taking in. We all are at 40 to 60 kids, right? So we have the staff, you put them in place, you get them to know the families, and then you move your schedule from there. And that helps a child to build and grow opposed to enforcing something on them when they're not ready, you know?
Right.
And it's okay.
And they just went through all this other stuff, and now you coming in like, nope, stand right here, do this, do that. And they're like, and that's not early childhood development anyway, because we're supposed to follow the child, right? Now we just have to follow them in a safe way.
So we're letting them direct the classroom. We're following high scope to the T right now.
Okay.
We're allowing them to direct the classroom and tell us where we need to be. How can we help you so that you can get on course? And remember, we've had great, stellar responses from our classrooms in doing that. So we do that under this circumstance and see how it works. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like how we can build a community just based on caring?
Yeah. And that's so unique, because right now care is so needed. It's so needed. Like and that slow down piece that you said, like even in you saying it made me just like slow down and just think for a minute. Like it's okay if we don't have answers right now. As parents go, you know, that are talking about going back to work, I know some of them might be like, what do you mean slow down? But like just even in your home, just slow down for a minute. Slow down on learning. Like we got this long vacation coming out, or this long weekend coming up. And it's people who's probably kids who are anxious because they like, it's Friday and I got this work that I got to turn in. So this talking about older kids, right? But just slow down for a minute and be okay. Give yourself permission to breathe or something, right? So when it come down to your PPE and your plans, I heard you say like your interest in exit has changed. How has some of that stuff changed?
Well, for me, it hurts because I have to practice it. It's
Mhm.
a lot less intimate.
Uh,
Like we don't get to hug, we don't get to do that when we come in, and that's our platform. We are the foundation, so we have to give them that.
right.
However, one of the things we've done to combat that is we've reached out to a host of grants, and we fortunately were able to capture like sinks to go in the corridor so you can wash your hands before you come in. So when that
Okay.
baby comes in and that baby is agitated, we know that you're clean, your temperature's okay. Once you cross that threshold, give that teacher a hug. So those are
Okay.
things that we've done just in the practice part. We
Mhm.
don't know how it's going to work, but
It's all trial and error right now.
it's all
Everybody.
trial and error.
Right.
But those are like some of the pieces where we're like, yo, that's the biggest part of our day, getting them transitioned from mommy to teacher.
Hmm.
So we were able to capture grants, which were huge in the city of Detroit. I'm so thankful for this backup
Yeah.
because I was literally stuck. Like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. But
Mm.
we received the grant. I was able to get the sinks. I was able to get the PPE. Of course, some of them weren't grants, they were loans, but we'll
Mhm.
figure that out along the way.
Right. Right. Right.
And
So
just,
what's some of the grants? Because I've that's some of the stuff Kamara was sharing Monday. Like I know I even spoke with an early childhood program the other day, and they didn't know about some of the PPE like supports that were available to them. You know.
I'm learning a lot through social media and through networking with other childcare centers in my area.
Okay.
They'll call me and say, this is what we have. I'll call them and say, this is what I found. Um, of course, the COVID-19 SBA grant came through.
Hmm.
I want to say the Detroit Network. I'm about to screw this up. It's a green and white symbol. Not prepared for that. But
Okay.
Detroit Network, Community Network,
Oh, Community Connections Grant.
Community Connection
Yeah.
Grant.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um, Also, the state of Michigan has blown me away with their support. I'm not saying that is not warranted. I'm just saying it
Mhm.
wasn't expected.
Right.
So with us able to still pay staff and keep them, that is huge. That's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah. This is a perfect time though for people like you to advocate for what you need because like it's evident that all this has to change when the kids come back. So you need more staffing. You need to make sure you're gonna have staff that could cover if I know somebody else is working on a substitution pool, but in the event a staff gets sick, right? And what's the procedure for like if you have too many kids or something like that, like even even getting kids to go to other programs or things like that, so when it comes down to your staff, we had questions from some people that asked if you have to get more staff now, like where are these staff members being found and what trainings or processes are you making them go through to get the job.
okay, so staff with any employer is not an easy task, especially when you're dealing with our most precious gems.
Mm-hmm.
So in my apps, or not, I don't want to say absence, but I have had the liberty of having people interview. And I said, let me take these interviews because I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. So I keep a reservoir. I interview them. I let them know, okay, this is where we are. When Governor Whitmore says more, then we'll move forward. However, right now you're a great candidate. As long as all your background checks comes in and you're COVID free, then we can move forward pending I need you. And I don't have a complaint with that. A lot of the people I interviewed during this time, they're like, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I respect that. But that's just something I did because I don't know what the outcome will be. And I have to be careful, just safe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So talking about safe, I know me and you were just discussing the Kawasaki's this new disease that they're saying the young kids are getting that's similar to Kawasaki's, but they're saying it's a side effect of COVID. We were discussing that how my grandson had that, right? End of the year, beginning of this year. And when parents see these signs, what would you say to parents? Like if they're at home, like you got your child in an early childhood program, we understand that you got to go to work. We understand all that. But when you see these signs, what should they be relaying to you, like immediately?
Well, initially we always ask for the signs. Have you seen, what have you seen, and how can we help? That's first.
Okay.
I'm not going to say don't bring them in initially because I'm not a medical physician. I don't know. I see a snotty nose, and my kids, I keep them home. So we all have our own opinions. However, one of the best parts about us having these ratios and having these caps on how many kids we can take in is we get to know them. So you can look at a child and say, that's not such and such. That's not such and such. Now, for facilities that don't operate to that magnitude, I can't explain that. However, when we're dealing with children that we deal with daily, and you're intimate with those children and the teachers are there with them, they'll tell you this ain't right. That's not a common code. They don't sneeze like this. So it's all about familiarity and just knowledge on the family. If you have a family where that family is very diligent, like yourself, you do your part and then we collaborate, we come to a conclusion. But when you have a family that just doesn't know, ignorance is real.
Yeah.
I'm ignorant in a lot of places.
Ignorance is not stupidity. Ignorance is just,
not. It's just the lack of knowledge.
No, right.
It's totally the lack of knowledge. So then you sit down with that parent and say, okay, well, tell me the truth. You have those one-on-ones and you don't make them feel bad. You have to say, look, I get it. You don't know. There were a lot of things I didn't know before I became a parent. It's okay. That's when I say, slow down. We're not in a race. Let's figure this out. It's okay. Where it's more about the child than those datas and those numbers. Let's get this piece together before we try to accomplish something that's incomparable because they're not ready.
Yeah. And so when in the event that or first let me go back. When you open, what is your date for opening? Or are you open already? No.
Okay, so we're not open.
Yeah.
And we will open once Governor Whitmore takes off the essential worker measure.
Okay.
Because we can't validate that with every parent, and we're accountable for all the funds that comes through when we do essential workers. So from a business aspect, that's not smart. You have to be careful because you still have to open up after this, okay? However, with the parents that we have to, our plan, like I said, we have our teachers in training right now. And then once the date is June 4th, after that, we're opening up to students.
Okay.
Now, in that opening, we're doing a soft opening. Like I'm not driving in a crowd. Here is who needs it. How do we move forward? Tell me about your family. This is a no judgment zone. I'll tell you what happened in my household if you feel better about yourself, because it wasn't gravy. It was a hard 2 months for us. We had to adjust. So I don't want them to feel ashamed, but tell me what happened so we can figure out if this is the best place for you. Okay? If we can help you along the way, let's do it. Let's do it. You can help us. We can help you. Remember, this is a life.
So are you opening for essential workers first?
No.
Just open.
As long as the lift is come up on the 28th, we're open to the public.
Okay.
But we're only open to parents who's willing to sit down and go through this process with us, because I don't want to be accountable for, anything that goes wrong. So in regards to health, we're going to follow our regular state mandated and additional precautions in regards to temperatures and things like that. We have staggered pick up and drop off. So we're trying to give each parent at least 8 minutes. That's the longest we can do so we can get the class started.
And get on routine. Get on
a routine.
Yeah.
And then we're asking the parents, and we're being candid about it. You cannot come in the building. If you need someone designated to pick up, we still have our transportation company. They're willing to help us out. But if you can't have one person pick up and drop off, we're going to put them on transportation.
Okay.
That's just going to alleviate the amount of people that's coming and being encountered with the children while we see them.
Okay.
And remember, transportation is a part of our package. So it's not like it's an additional cost, but it helps us to help you and to help the child. Our greatest interest is the child.
Now, you just said a mouthful right there. Transportation is a part of your packet. All child care centers don't have it.
They don't.
No. So when it comes down to transportation and a parent who may have to catch the bus from home or something, that means they're not catching the bus to your program and then catching the bus to work.
Right.
Like literally, you have made provisions where their child can be conveniently picked up.
Yes.
Wow. So that's a good thing.
Now,
So
here's the one thing that we have to remember. That doesn't include all children because of state mandates. Remember, you have to be a certain weight to get on that bus. So typically, that's for the children who are 4 through 12.
Okay.
That's just a precaution that we're taking. Okay, put them on transportation. We'll figure it out. We'll get it together. If a parent can't, then we'll do that part.
Okay. Okay.
So for the little ones, that's when we sit down with the parents and say, how can we help? What can we do to better the situation so that it's not 10 different people dropping off on a day and, things like that.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So, dang, I had one more question earlier and I can't even remember what it was, but what I would want you to do for a moment is just to speak to other early childhood providers, because I know this has been stressful and you seem to be taking it with a grain of salt, even though I know it's probably complicated, but you have different, you've been a part of this game for a while, right? You've been a part of even the additional supports you spoke about. If there's an early childhood provider out there who is not to somebody, where would you tell them to connect to? That's not connect, because like Brightmore, for instance, has the Brightmore quality group, right? But where would you tell maybe like the East Side providers? Because Brightmore, for those who don't know, Brightmore is the west side, like kind of partial west side of our city, but Ms. Snyder's on the east side. So where would you tell some of them, or how could they connect to you for those supports?
Okay, first I would say this: reach out to organizations like Hope Stars Here, organizations like IFF, organizations like Black Family Development, because they have a pool and they deal with a lot of us, okay? Now, that's your first step when you're just sitting at home on your phone and you need to outlet. But in the interim, I'm here. I will open my doors. I know that my neighbors will. I cohort with at least 4 to 5 different centers that are down the street from me. We communicate regularly because we understand that this is a community effort. This is not about us. So my information is at the bottom of the screen. If you want to call me, you can call my cell phone. I don't mind. The only thing I ask is that you're genuine. That's it.
Yeah, because we know that in this space, all people aren't, right?
People are people. People are people. However, if this is not your priority, I get it. But just, this is our lane. This is what we do.
Yeah.
That's all I say. Like, Bernita, you have my number. You can give it to a provider who says I need help. Okay, I got you. Come on over.
Yeah.
We all have a capacity. And the reality is my capacity in Detroit is 48. That's not even a city block.
No. And we were already short on seats in the city, right? We were already 20,000 something seats short. And so now this makes it like, wow, now we got to recalculate what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And I did hear about a couple of programs that they were seeing are getting these temporary clearances to now become child care programs. And I was like, yeah, just like your face is looking, I was like, ooh, wow, okay, so where that happened at, right? Like, who's gonna watch the babies? What were they before, right? And some of them were like community programs, but I'm just really concerned about what that looks like and who. I mean, there's some of them that I would say you probably could be a child care program, right? With the right courses and all of that, but what sparked your mind to think that somebody's gonna just open up and say, "Oh, now I'm gonna be a child care provider"?
I'll say this. I have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have 3. I've been to hospitals. I have one with asthma. I have one with eczema. I have one who had serious surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I've dealt with a lot. However, you could not put me in an operations room.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell me that I have the knowledge of someone in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot ask me to treat someone accordingly because I respect that field that much, where I know how much it goes into it. That's not my lane.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I understand the need, but remember, and this is the part that stands out the most to me, these children are our future. This is not a car. This is not a blanket. This is not an IRA. This is not a 401k.
These are bodies. These are
These are
humans.
bodies that breathe. So we should probably prioritize that accordingly. And that's my opinion. As a veteran, or I'm not even gonna say, because I'm far from a veteran, but as an experienced person in the field for over 10 years, this is not for the lighthearted,
Mm-hmm.
TV is not gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I have a couple of questions on here. Let me look at these questions on here for you. One moment. Oh, I thought it was a question on here. I could have swore Sharon said something. Okay, but anyway, yeah. So I guess my last question would be, how what type of supports do you have in place for your staff in the event, like, because they've been through some stuff outside of the trainings for when you return, and maybe not specifics, but what do you have that just in case there's a staff member that may get sick or their child gets sick or something?
Okay, so of course we have to follow state mandates. That's a given. But even in the interim, like I keep explaining to my staff, you have to take care of you or you're no good to me.
Mm.
Period.
For those babies, yeah.
That's why we're taking our slow intake. Let's see where we are. Let's see how you adjust to being around different people. We've all been quarantined for 2 months, and then we'll take on our boatload. But right now, let's take on the priorities. Let's take on the ones who just absolutely need it, and we'll see how we transition in. And in the event that you do become ill, thank God to thank God to the PPE. I can still pay you.
Yeah.
I can still pay you. You can go home for, I think the max is 6 weeks, and I know you're coming back, and I know that you are essential in the classroom.
Security, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not making backup plans to, not prepare for that. But it's like any other industry. I need you.
Yeah. And then you have somebody said, yes, test their immune system first and see how. That's wise. Yep. That's Vivette Dukes. And so just thinking about the fact that they feel comfortable knowing that their boss is going to allow them to come back. It's not risking their job. Like, take this well needed break that you need. And then you got this pull on the other end that you can pull from and say, okay, I may not be able to hire you long term, but can you give me 6 weeks, right? Yep. Or can you give me 4 to 6 weeks or whatever it might be to this person returns. Yeah. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm glad. Okay. So I guess if you have nothing else for us, what anything you would want parents to know? Do you have seats? Where's your other center, I should say? So I know you're in Detroit.
Oh, our second center is in East Point, Michigan. It's in the Early Childhood Learning Center on Davis Street. Okay. We are actually opening that one as well. We do have a list of parents prepared to come in there, and we're going to follow the same protocols. And as far as parents and staff, one of the things that I'm really, really hardcore on, and one of the things I'm really blessed to be able to be is a parent first.
Okay.
I watch my children go through this transition. I watch me go through this transition. But I always have to sit back and say, you know what? We're gonna go slowly. Let's do this slow. Let's take our time. We're gonna kill quote unquote expectations. And the data that we collect is gonna be on my priority as a business owner and a parent first is social emotional.
Okay.
When I know that my children are there mentally, I can get them to do anything. I know that as a mom first. If you're happy, you're healthy, and we're there, yes, you can learn calculus. You don't care. You're happy. Yeah. So we prioritize that transition first. Then I think the rest of it will fall in place. Not easily, but it'll fall carefully and correctly. We just have to address the proper issues in regards to, this is what I was going to say. As an adult, the transition for me was like, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. What am I doing? I'm home. I'm useless. So just imagine what that is for a child.
Yeah. Because we've been struggling as the Hope Starts Here team. Our team has, we usually out there with families and talking to people, and that's been the biggest thing, to be caregivers but not be able to give care. Yes. Like not be able to work for somebody, not to be able to, actually be in somebody's space and say, hey, this is how we're gonna do this, and collaborate together in person. And then touch is the number one thing, in early childhood development. So being able to hug one another, or being able to see one another and touch somebody's back and see somebody's, the reaction on their face. On Zoom call, everybody look good from here down. Right. We all look good from here to here. You see the bottom, we in shorts and pajama pants, right? Right. Shh, we professional. We are fully dressed, right? But
anyway, see my blazer, girl, I'm ready.
Right. But you don't see the real, the person just trying to show up for a Zoom call. But early childhood is we tangible for one another, and this has been the hardest thing, right? I heard somebody, which has nothing to do with early childhood, but heard somebody say that the World Health Organization, I think it was trying to ask people to quit calling it social distancing and call it personal distancing, I think it is, because safe distancing, I think it is, because they said social distancing means you are socially distant from people, and they don't want people to get used to being socially away from people. I was like, that's a little bit of a stretch, because we are, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, like I need to be around some people, but it's all right though.
That's like me telling my son it's nighttime, and he tells me, no, Mom, it's dark outside.
It's dark outside.
You say tomatoes, I say tomatoes.
Hey,
it is what it is.
Right. But anyway, I thank you so much for being on today with me, Monique. I really do. And I appreciate all you do for our young kids. And I hope that all the families appreciate all the effort that y'all are going into to open up these programs. Because I know even when we were out there rating y'all programs, I remember us being in the center one day over on 6 Mile, and this lady, Carmen's Center, and we were just kind of like overcrowding the kids' space. And the little boy, we doing our little writing, evaluating and, assessing what we see. And the little boy tapped one of my staff members on the leg and was like, excuse me, lady, excuse me. Can you get out of my kitchen? Because we was in a play area. And the lady looked down and was like, oh. And, we scurried on like, no, and I was like, no, this is too much. Like, move out of his space.
You gotta move back,
Gotta move back because this baby in his space. And so to know that you guys are intentionally trying to make sure that their spaces are still their spaces, that they get to dictate and they get to make sure it's their home, right? Like this baby was like, hey, you get out of my kitchen. So, and we moved, because they world. We just adults trying to get along in their world.
I
So
love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm
so
extremely appreciative to even be able to speak on this platform and let parents know we are advocates for children and families.
yeah.
Period. We are here for you. So
Hmm.
don't think anything different. And I'm speaking from myself and the individuals that I know who operate phenomenal centers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our goal is to make sure that that child gets everything that they need in order to get to that academic platform from kindergarten to first grade, and out.
Yeah.
So we are advocates. We're here. Whatever you need us to do, our goal is to help and to build that foundation.
Yeah. Make sure they ready. Everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's proof. I swear it's proof. And I know we supposed to be getting off, but it's proof because I think about my son who, when he was younger, and I tell people all the time, I was like that mom who was like, my son went to child care and cried the first day. And I swear I needed to cut the cord because I went to the program. I was like, oh, he been crying all day. Oh, he ain't got to come back here no more. Y'all just let my baby cry. Right. And I was so offended, but I never even look, I was 22, 24 years old, I think then. Right. And then here come this other child of mine and owning a business and all that. I was like, okay, she needs to be somewhere. And to see the difference in growth in her when she was younger and he was younger, like she came in like, oh no, mom, we need to sit down and have dinner together every day. Oh no, we need to set the table. Like she had all those values and principles that came from early childhood programs. But I was like, and then she was like, my teacher said at 3 years old, I'm like, your teacher ain't your mama. But at the same time,
I
it
was
was
hurt.
right. And then she was ready, so much more prepared for regular school, for K-12 when she
Mm-hmm.
left the Head Start program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm living testimony, so I get it.
Yeah.
There, as I like to ask my staff and my coworkers, what do I say? No shade.
Mm-hmm.
These are all facts. I was her. I was that mom. I always tell my parents when they act like that, I say, now I'm going to take you, I'm going to drop you off in Australia,
Mm.
and then I'm going to leave for the day. And then I want you to figure it out, okay? Don't
Mm.
have an emotional breakdown. Don't be sad all day. Don't do that. And then they understand, I'll give them a different country. And I'm like, no, I'm going to leave you there where you
Mm-hmm.
don't know you, or let's go to China, let's go somewhere where you just have no idea.
Right, right.
Give
So
them
if they
their time,
cry,
let
right.
them transition. So
Yeah,
I always tell my parents that.
yeah. But then you come back like Malachi a couple of days. I came to pick him up and he was looking at me like, who are you, lady? I'm staying here with Miss. I'm like, dude, if you don't come on and give me this card, if you don't give me this card, what are you doing? My grandma.
I love it though. Don't you love it? That made me feel good. Like at least this is where you need to be and I can handle business. I
Right.
trust now. Now I'm building trust as a
Yeah. Yeah.
parent. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Blessings in your opening, blessings in being able to return. Bless all the staff and the families. And I look forward to hearing from you at the next Hope Starts Here meeting
Yes,
or before then, whichever way. Whichever.
mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. This was everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Okay, you guys, this has been the Apparent Voice with Bernita Bradley. For parents out there, just we got a long weekend ahead, and I know we've talked a lot about kids, but this weekend, if you can, please remember, still practice some social distancing. I know people are excited about the holiday. Our governor in Michigan, I don't know about everybody else's governor, but I know we do have some states that are open. But our governor has released where you can have events for up to 10 people. But I am really asking that while you host those events, still practice safety. Stay safe. Wash those hands frequently. Make sure that your kids are safe. There's a lot of new events going on around the city where people are starting to let people gather, but social distancing gatherings, but still be safe in those spaces. Respect one another. If you don't think that you need it. Just respect the person that's in the space with you, because you don't know if they have like immune system issues or whatever. Just respect that. I ask you to join us back on Tuesday at 4 o'clock here, same place. Please like and share these videos, these live chats. Please, this is the way that we get more attention. The other day, they actually blocked me because they felt like I liked and shared too much, but it's all right though. But and then just you're welcome to join some of the other shows that we have tonight. Our last show for the week is Marisol's 9 o'clock, her evening show. Just healing and just, kind of a little diffusing show. Just come in and just listen spiritually and just enjoy the evening and sleep better, hopefully, at night. So I thank you. This has been the Apparent Voice, and I look forward to talking to you next Tuesday. And enjoy your holiday and your weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.